There was a question about dealing with reversals, and I had another video I did some time ago about the common reversals of B and D and P and Q, whatever. How it happens in the brain, why it's an issue, with the focus on symmetry and the fact that the brain is wired to see symmetrical items as the same object. And that's why B's and P's and B's and Q's all of those are confusing for kids because it's essentially the same object, just with different orientation. And I talked about using what happens in the mouth to help with the distinguishing the letters, like the B starts with a line, so we write the line first, but the D starts with the open part. We write the open part first. And the same thing with the P and the Q or the G, whichever one that they're confusing with. I just want to add also that some kids, they get the B and the D, and then we find that they still are having difficulty with the B and the P, with the B and the P. And that's a little harder because they both begin with the line, the P and B, and they are the same formation in the mouth. One's just a voice and one's an unvoiced. So we need a little more with that. So with the B, I would say the line goes up, and like a balloon goes up, and in the P, the line goes down, like the P goes down. And I just say B, balloon goes up, and P goes down. I don't expound on that, but kids get it. And then we practice, if that's a confusion, we practice, line up or line down, line up, line down, and say the sounds. Now there are other confusing letters, and I want to show you what I do with those. Let me share my screen. Okay, I'm going to share the screen here. This is my iPad, and I'm going to write on the iPad. If students are confusing the M and the W, or the M and the W, and again, I will connect it to what's happening in your mouth. When we say our lips are together. When we say W, our lips are further apart. So I talk about the being the first two strokes of the are the lips closed. Stroke down and up, and see how it's closed? It doesn't open up. So I would say, the line down, short line down, trace it up until we almost hit that midline, and then we do the two bumps. But this section here, these are our lips, and see how it's closed. Our lips are closed, so we have the with our lips closed. But the W, the first two strokes, the lips are open. And we know in print it's often less distinct than in handwriting, but we still can talk about the first two strokes. Remember this one, see how the lips are open? But this one, the lips are closed. So is lips closed, W, lips open. And I like referring to what's happening with the lips because your lips are always with you. Your mouth is always with you. Whereas, visuals or things that like the B and the D, that you put a rubber band on this wrist, whatever it is, or you hold your hands up. Those things kids don't like to use. They don't like to be conspicuous. So your lips, you always have with you, and you can see kids writing and they'll go, and they're concentrating here, but it's not as obvious to the class. So it's easier to get buy-in to use the cues of what's happening in your mouth. So the and the W, lips closed, lips open. The other one that is often an issue is the U and the N. And here it's because they are literally upside down, right? When I talk about the U that says when I say My tongue is down. My mouth is open. My tongue is down. And doesn't this look like a nice tongue? And see how the tongue is down? And you can feel your tongue resting down in your mouth. And this, look at that lovely tongue. And where is that tongue going? That tongue is up. Your tongue is up. And I'll have kids look at my tongue and, feel their tongue, look in the mirror, all of that. Your tongue is up. So, your tongue is down. Your tongue is up. So we'll go through and we'll say, oh, tongue's down, tongue's up. And that will help with these confusing letters. Now, if we have kids that are just having trouble with all of the reversals because they don't have the directionality, the hint I like to give, well, of course, we give a paper with a red line. That's our starting point. And we start there. And for some kids, I'll put a green arrow. We're starting here and a stop on this side. Whatever it is you have to do to show them the direction. For any letter formation, we want to teach that letters that begin with a line start very close to the starting point or very close to the letter in front of it. Whereas letters that start with a squiggle or a curve start further away. So all of my curvy letters, and I have this as like a clock. We would call it a clock face and starting at 2 o'clock or whatever you want to say. But if it's a curve, you're going to start further away. So all of our curvy letters will start at this point. So whether it's the starting at this point up and around and then down, or the k starting at this point and d starting at this point and up tall, drop it down, or the g, whatever it is, right? But when if our student is having an issue with just the k, that's a curvy letter. It does not start with a line. The curvy letters will start here. So the k starting at my point here, it always starts further away. The curvy letters start further away. And we practice, I call them clock letters, but you can call them curvy letters, whatever you want to do. If it has a curve in it, it starts further away. So they always start further from the starting point. They don't start close to the letter in front of it, right? So we don't let curvy letters start here. All the curvy letters are going to start on this side. The other thing I teach is that letters that begin with a line start very close to the letter in front of it. And we practice saying that letters that begin with a line start very close to the letter in front of it. And what happens if you're making a B, oh, that's the line one. It starts here. Now you don't have the choice. You can't go in the wrong direction. There's only one direction you can go in to make your B, right? So all of the letters that start with a line start very close. All of the letters that start with a curve start further away. It's even true of the F. It starts further away, goes up and then down, whatnot. So letters that begin with a line start very close. Letters that begin with a curve start further away. And we see that, let's see, with the S. The S is one of the curvy letters. So starting here, we go across the top of the curve, cut across the middle, and then fall around the bottom of the curve. But Z is the straight letter. Letters that begin with the line start very close. So I'm going to start it super close to the letter that's in front of it. And it's a line letter, so across, line, down. So yes, they do have to know which ones are curvy letters and which ones are straight letters. But once they get that, the starting point is set for them. So Z is a letter that begins with the line. Start it close, and you won't go wrong. S, it starts with a curve. Start it further away, and you'll go in the correct direction. C, it starts with a curve. It's a curvy letter, so it starts further away and brings it back. And I think that was all of the ones you had asked about. But if you go through the alphabet and just notice all the ones that begin with a line are going to start very close. You know what direction you have to go in if you're starting close. You can't go in any other direction, right? And an E, For instance, I call E a letter that begins with a line because I do a very straight line and then up and around. We know what direction to go in because I'm starting close. I can't go any other direction. If the issue is numbers, and I know some people have issue with numbers, I would say like this line here is my home base. This one here, boop, that's a home base, or that's mom, or whatever you want to call it. And all of our numbers, the lower numbers, just like a young child, they have to start pretty close to home base, or pretty close to home, or pretty close to mom. So whether it's a 1, starting close, a 2, yeah, that's still a young child, it's gonna start close. A 3, yeah, that's still a pretty little kid. It's gonna start close, and you will get the direction right. 4, start it close, down, over, down some more. 5, and I start at 5 over here because a 5-year-old's still pretty young, and I do the down belly and hat, right? And all the lower numbers, just like young children, start close to home. So where was I? 6, and so starting pretty close. 7 starts close, goes further. 8, okay, now when you're 8 in 3rd grade, you can venture out a little more. So 8 and 9 start further away. 9 further away. Okay, so once I've introduced the means to distinguish the letters, we might practice it. If I have it here in the same Jamboard, I will have the student practice saying what this distinguishing part is. So for instance, for this, they might say circle, 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 line, line. So I know that they're paying attention to what they're hitting as they read this. And I might do that. And then the next time through, we say circle, d, circle, d, circle, d, line, p, line, b. And getting them used to paying attention to what they hit as they read this. So they hit the circle, it's the one with your lips open, it's the d. And then we might just practice, moving these over in here and saying the sound as we do it, d, 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 etc. If I have a student that's just having trouble with the P and the B, we might say line up, line down, line up, line down, or, up, b, down, p, up, b, down, p. I would do this. And for the M and the W, it'd be open. So the first 2 strokes, that one's open. It's a w, open, 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 then close with a m. And we'll practice saying open, w, or eventually I'll just say w, m, and go through and give the sounds. I also would have them listen to words with the target sounds, and then put a piece on and say, okay, we're going for 5 in a row. And I will say, wig, what's the sound? And mop, what's the sound? And have them find the sound and then place the piece on. And then for the U and the N, I'd say, the tongue is down, the tongue is up, and then put the pieces on, and then do the same thing with my tongue was down, which letter was it? And no, or whatever, nod, or whatever word that we'll come up with, and say, oh, the tongue was up, and we'll cover that piece. And we'll do that for practice. Or I might just have the students play this actually in Bingo Baker, and we do a online game. And the trick with Bingo Baker, if you're doing it virtually, is that once you've gotten to this point, if you take this address and share it with your student, they play on the same board as you. So you can have you and your student virtually working on the same board. And if my student clicks that and is clicking the ones and they say, oh, wait, that one was incorrect, I can unclick it from my end. So I can do this in Bingo Baker. Same thing. And this is where I make almost all of my boards to play, or I just screenshot the board and put it into my Jamboard. I hope that helps. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'm using, because I know people ask, I'm just using Jamboard on my iPad and writing on it and sharing it here. And my Jamboard backgrounds, they're just backgrounds like I have on TPT and whatnot, but they're just simple backgrounds. All right, hope that helps.